Hey YouTube, wanted to upload a video on Forever Winter. Saw that a lot of people were struggling with the game, so wanted to do a gameplay analysis and breakdown on my own gameplay, in which I think I found what works for me. So right at the start of the game, on the first map, on the cemetery spawn, you want to go ahead and move forward and hug on the right side. There's this little perch here that I'm sitting on, and you just want to let the battlefield breathe for a minute. The AI have their own objectives that they need to do, so allowing the battlefield to breathe gives them enough time to path in the direction of their objectives and eventually help lessen the mob density for when you do decide to move into the map and begin looting. From some of the videos that I've seen and watched, it seems that Forever Winter works on a threat system. So the less threatening you seem to the mobs on the map, the less likely they are to pursue or engage you. Because the AI have to path, sometimes it does take a little while for them to engage each other because of the distance they may be pathing, so patience really is key in playing this game. If you feel like things aren't progressing fast enough, you are more than welcome to push a little into the map to see if you can get either mobs to spawn or to see if there's anything pathing closely, so that either you can make the decision to move forward or to sit and wait and see if any additional reinforcement may come into the area. After a bit, I feel like the mobs aren't progressing, so I decide to move into the map a little bit to see if there's any loot that I can get before they eventually do path and start their own engagements. Pushing into this area, there's a loot spawn right here. Most of the times it is a loot box container, which is worth about 15k, though it is randomized, but more times than not I seem to find the loot box container instead. At this point in the video, I'm just watching the patrols to see where the AI will be pathing. Eventually, the AI from the top of the fort path into the other faction down below, and they start an engagement. I do hear the sounds of a mech coming, so just making note of the location that the mech spawned from. Usually when there's one spawn, there's a chance that it's a patrol path, and there will be additional reinforcements also coming from that same area. Not always, but it is good to make note of that. Eventually, a patrol does make it to the objective, and they start a fight with the faction down below. So at this point in the video, a patrol does spawn behind me, and they move to engage with the mech. This area is pretty safe for as long as they're staying engaged. I do start to move to the backside of this area once I see this patrol come up. I don't necessarily want them to path in this direction or to pull aggro once their engagement has been broken. At At this point in the video, I start to understand that this is a patrol path and that mobs will start to path in this general direction. So I decide to vault over the wall to get to the other side and let the additional reinforcements path into the mech and allow myself to get some additional loot. At this point, the mech is starting to move and path upwards, so I decide to loot this down portion of the area. The storage chest is always there. It's a random assortment of loot, and there is a random heavy that will spawn down here as well. This particular time, it's another loot box. However, I have seen water containers down here to spawn. Now that I see the mech is pathing away, I decided it's a good time to loot the dead bodies. I do have the upgraded rig, so I can actually carry out 3 weapons from the AI. All the weapons in the map will be broken, so you cannot actually use those weapons that the AI were using. They're more for selling than anything else. Early on in the game, it doesn't really matter what you loot, you just want to get loot out so that you can build up a bit of a bankroll. So you do not actually have to wait for the items to be identified, just loot it and scoot, go to the next area, and then when you have a full bag like I do, you'll start to progress and make your way to extraction. So because we've allowed the battlefield to breathe essentially and have the AI move to their objectives, the map is less condensed with all the additional AI mobs, so you're able to move to this backside pretty freely as I'm sprinting and running around. So if you started in Cemetery Spawn Point, this area will always be your extraction point. When you get here, it is a spawn point for additional enemies, so you do want to take the area a little bit slowly. Once the AI have spawned into the map and start engaging, you're actually pretty free to move around as they don't notice you as quickly once they are engaged. In this particular moment, the AI weren't engaged with anyone, so those question marks do pop up as I pull some aggro.
Savor it.
And that's the basic loop for the game. I don't find that Forever Winter is a very difficult game once you understand the base mechanics and how the AI kind of operate. I still think it's a very punishing game, but once you have the knowledge behind why things happen, it becomes a lot easier to move and manipulate the battlefield to find additional loot and do things that generally seem very difficult in the very beginning of the game. Hopefully with this game breakdown and analysis, you guys will have an easier time progressing through Forever Winter. If you like the content or have any suggestions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I do find video editing pretty interesting at the moment and something new for me, so who knows, maybe I'll start a actual channel and cover some more of this game. Other than that, hope you guys have a great day.